It's a Tuesday afternoon in March. You are 26. You have zero in your trading account. 3 months ago it said $8,400. You funded it yourself. Saved it over 14 months. Skipped things to build it. Told yourself it was the start of something. It took 11 weeks to lose all of it. Not in one trade. Not in one dramatic moment you can point to and explain. 11 weeks of small decisions that each felt reasonable at the time. A position too big. A stop moved. A loss held because the thesis was still valid. A win taken too early because you needed to feel something go right. 11 weeks of being almost right, almost disciplined, almost consistent. Almost doesn't keep money in an account. You close the platform. You sit at the desk. The screen goes dark. You look at your reflection in it for a second. Then you open your phone. You check Instagram. You check Twitter. You put the phone down. You pick it up again. Nobody texted. Nobody called. Nobody knows. Your coworkers think you invest. That's the word you used. Invest. It sounds stable. It sounds like something a person with a plan does on the side. You said it once at lunch and never corrected it. So now you invest. Except the account is empty and you're sitting in a dark room at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday pretending nothing happened. You don't tell anyone. Not your brother. Not your girlfriend. Not the friend who asked last month how it was going and you said, fine, still learning. You are still learning. You just paid $8, $400 in tuition for a lesson you can't fully name yet. The account is gone. Nobody noticed. You are 22 when you first hear about it. A video. Some guy with a ring light and a brokerage screenshot. Up $4,000 in a morning. He makes it look like arithmetic. Like a skill you can download. You watch it twice. You watch 3 more. You open a paper trading account that same night. Paper trading feels like a video game because it is. No real money means no real fear. No real fear means no real decisions. You paper trade for 6 weeks. You're up $14,000 on paper. You take this as evidence. It isn't. You open a real account with $500. Real money. The platform looks identical to the paper one. But the first trade feels nothing like paper trading. Your hands are slightly different on the keyboard. You check the position every 90 seconds. You close it for a $23 gain because you need to feel like it worked. You screenshot it. You don't send it to anyone, but you save it in a folder. You blow the $500 in 2 weeks. Not recklessly. Carefully. Following rules you invented yourself based on 6 weeks of watching videos made by people whose job is making videos about trading. You fund it again. $500. You tell yourself the first round was tuition. It was. So was the second. At 23, you fund it properly. $2,000. You've been working a second job for 4 months to build it. Weekends at a restaurant. Coming home smelling like the kitchen. Opening the platform at midnight. Marking levels. Studying setups. Reading forums where strangers argue about indicators you barely understand. You have a system now. Rules written on a notepad beside the monitor. Entry criteria. Stop placement. Position sizing. You follow them for 11 days in a row. The account grows to $2,600. On the 12th day, you break every rule in 40 minutes. A stock gaps up at open. You weren't watching it. You see it moving on a scanner. You chase the entry. Too late, too big, no stop. You know while you're doing it. That's the part people don't believe. You know, your hands are faster than your rules, and the knowing doesn't stop anything. You lose $800 in the time it takes to eat lunch. You sit there. The sandwich is still in the wrapper. The position is closed. The account says $1,500. You pick up the notepad with the rules on it. You read them. All of them. You put it down. You go back to work that afternoon. You don't quit. You don't know why, but you don't quit. His name is Daniel. You went to university together. He started trading the same month you did. You found out by accident in a group chat. You started comparing notes, then strategies, then screenshots on good days. You stop sharing screenshots on bad days. So does he. Daniel gets a big win in October. A biotech play that triples overnight. He texts you at 7 a.m. The screenshot shows $6,400 in a single position. He says this is it. He says he figured it out. He says he's going to quit his job by January. You say, congratulations, you mean it. You're also $400 down that week, and you close the platform after reading his message and you stare at the ceiling for a while. January comes. Daniel doesn't quit his job. He doesn't mention trading for 3 months. When you ask, he says he's taking a break, reassessing. You don't push. You already know what reassessing means. You've reassessed 4 times yourself. The difference is you came back. You don't know if Daniel will. You don't ask. Some things don't need to be asked to be understood. You are 25 when you fund the $8,400 account. It's the most money you've ever put in. 14 months of a second job, of saying no to things, of watching the savings number grow in a separate account you labeled Do Not Touch. The night you transfer it, you sit at the desk for a long time before pressing confirm. You feel something you haven't felt before. Not excitement. Gravity. Like the number carries a weight that the smaller ones didn't. The first month goes well. Up $900. You follow the rules. You miss some setups because you waited for confirmation and the move was over before you entered. That used to bother you. Now you write it in the journal and move on. You have a journal now, not the notepad. An actual process document. Entry, exit, planned stop, actual stop, emotional state at open, emotional state at close. Every trade, every day. You look like a different trader than the one who chased a gap at 23 and lost $800 in 40 minutes. You are a different trader. You just don't know yet whether it's enough. Month 2. Something shifts in the market. Volatility expands. Your setups stop working the way they worked in month 1. You adjust. The adjustments don't work either. You're down $200 by the 3rd week. You increase size to make it back faster. You know that's the wrong move while you're doing it. You do it anyway. This is the part nobody shows in the highlight reel. Not the blow up. The sequence of small rational sounding decisions that build the path to it. Each one makes sense in the moment. Add them together and they become the story of how you lost $8,400. By week 11 you stop writing in the journal. Not because things are going well. Week 11 is the last week. You don't know it yet. You take a trade on a Friday. Too big, wrong direction. The market closes against you. You hold it over the weekend because closing it means it's real. Monday opens worse. You close it. The account says $600. You take 2 more trades that week trying to recover. You don't. By Thursday, the account says 0. You close the platform. You sit at the desk. The screen goes dark. You look at your reflection in it. The account is gone. Nobody noticed. You don't open the platform for 3 weeks. Not because you quit. Because you don't trust yourself with it yet. That's a new thought. That's the first thought you've had about trading in 2 years that came from somewhere honest instead of somewhere hopeful. You go back through the journal, the one you stopped writing in. You read every entry from month 1 to week 8 of month 2. You look for the line. The exact entry where the version of you that was following rules became the version of you that was managing a disaster. You find it. Week 6, a note that says, adjusted size because setups feel less reliable. 1 sentence. Sounds reasonable. Reads like a professional making a calibrated decision. It was the beginning of the end. You increase size into uncertainty instead of decreasing it. The professional move is the opposite. You knew that. It's written in the rules document. You just didn't apply it to yourself. You sit with that for a long time. You don't fund the account again for 2 months. Not punishment. Preparation. You go back to paper trading but differently this time. Not to practice entries. To practice doing nothing. To practice watching a setup that doesn't fully qualify and not taking it. That's the skill you actually need. Not finding trades. Declining the wrong ones. It's harder than it sounds. On paper. With no money at risk. Still hard. Your girlfriend asks why you've been quiet. You say you're just tired. She knows it's more than that. She doesn't push. You don't offer. There's nothing to explain that wouldn't require starting from the beginning, and you don't have the energy for the beginning. At night, you sit at the desk. The platform is open, but there's no money in it. You watch the market move, you mark the setups, you write down what you would have done. Then you write down what the rules say you should have done. Some days they match. A lot of days they don't. You keep going. The account is gone. Nobody noticed. That is starting to be the point. You fund it again at 26, $3,000, not $8,400. You're not ready for $8,400. You might not be for another year. You know that now in a way you didn't know before the first account went to zero. There are things you only learn from losing real money, not a simulation, not a smaller version of the lesson, the full one. The journal is back. Every trade, every entry, every honest note about your state of mind. You add a rule you didn't have before. If the emotional state column says anything other than neutral, no trade. Just watch. The market will open tomorrow. The setups will come back. Your emotional state costs more than any missed trade ever will. The first month is small, up $180. Nothing to tell anyone. Nobody to tell. The second month is smaller, up $90. You are not building wealth. You are building evidence. Evidence that the process works when you follow it. Evidence that you are the kind of trader who follows it even when nothing interesting is happening. The account is a test, not of the market, of you. Month 4, something clicks. Not a trade, not a winning week. A session where everything goes wrong and you do nothing. The setup invalidates at entry and you don't chase it. The market spikes against your position and you close it at your planned stop without moving. A hot tip from a forum looks exactly like the thing you used to trade in year 1 and you don't touch it. You close the platform at noon. You sit back, you made $0 that session. You lost nothing. You held the process completely. You write in the journal, today I traded like someone who is going to be here in 5 years. You don't show it to anyone. There's no one to show it to. You just close the journal and go make lunch. Daniel texts you in November. He asks if you're still trading. You say yes. He says he got back in 2 months ago. He says he's been profitable. You say that's good. He says it like he wants you to ask how. You don't. You ask how the job is. He says the job is fine. He says he's trying to build the account up to where he can trade full-time again. You say nothing. He says he's up $2,100 this month. You say that's solid. He says it like a competition. You let it be one-sided. You are up $800 this month. You don't mention it. Not because you're behind. Because the comparisons stop mattering somewhere around the 3rd month of the second account. The scoreboard Daniel is looking at is not the scoreboard that measures what you're building. He's measuring this month. You're measuring whether you'll still be doing this in 3 years. You say good luck. You mean it. You hang up. You go back to the desk. You are 28 now. The account says $31,000. You funded it with $3,000 2 years ago. Nobody gave you the rest. You made it. Trade by trade, session by session, journal entry by journal entry on the days when you wrote nothing happened, and that was the right answer. Your girlfriend knows now. Not because you told her dramatically. Because she saw the screen one evening and asked what that number was, and you told her the truth. She was quiet for a moment. Then she asked how long. You said 2 years. She said she thought something was going on. You said you were sorry for being quiet about it. She said she wasn't upset. She said she just wished you'd told her sooner. You said you didn't know how. She asked if you were happy doing it. You thought about it. Not the money, the process, the journal, the sessions where you do nothing, and it's the right call. The version of you that now instinctively sizes down when conditions get uncertain instead of sizing up. You said yes, you are. She nodded. She went back to what she was doing. You went back to the desk. There was no speech, no reveal, no moment where the years of silence became a dramatic story. Just a Tuesday evening and a number on a screen and 2 people who know each other well, enough that the explanation fit in 4 sentences. The account is still going. Nobody noticed for a long time. That's not the tragedy. That was the whole design. Somewhere right now, someone is staring at a screen that says $0, the account they saved for. The one they funded carefully, seriously, with rules written down and intentions that were real. It's gone. Not all at once. Piece by piece over weeks until there was nothing left to hold. They're sitting in a dark room on a Tuesday afternoon. Nobody texted. Nobody called. Nobody knows. They think this is the story of a loss. It isn't. It's the story of what comes next. Whether they go back through the journal and find the line. Whether they sit with the paper account for 2 months and practice declining the wrong trades. Whether they come back with $3, zeozen and smallser size, and the kind of patience that only grows in the silence after everything goes wrong. The account is gone. Nobody noticed. Whether you come back is the only part that matters. And the only person who will ever know if you did is you.